Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I have a great guest today, Mr. Mike Toulmin. Mike Toulmin lives in the Comox Valley. Mike Toulmin was a fierce activist against the COVID lockdowns and all things coming from mainstream media. So I'm not sure how that triggers you, whether you're pro everything the media wanted you to do or not, but either way, it's a good conversation. We don't bash either side. We just get into it. We talk about the trucker convoy. We talk about how they started this crazy blooming project called the Potluck Group, which was our first real introduction into a friendship circle here in the Comox Valley from me and my family. One of the things that you might find interesting in this podcast is we talk a lot about sovereignty. And I'm not sure if you've heard about it. It's kind of this groundswell that's been going on for years where certain people feel like they want to separate from the system. I don't have the right vernacular for it, but they want to separate from the system. Lot of chatter around they're not paying taxes, how that couples with living in the world we live in, driving on the roads we drive in, not getting into too much trouble over it, and just the headaches it is with separating, and why separate it all in the first place. So we talk about lots. I'm very curious about the subject. I've heard lots about it, and so I really hope you enjoy it. Now, I do want to say this is another in-person interview that went pear-shaped. Every time I do an in-person interview, I have technical issues. I have a lot to learn in that regard and really need some investment. And I don't really want to invest too much more until we start to get a bit of traction on this pod. So the video, which I did film, crapped out. And I couldn't figure out how to mesh it with the audio. I know there's people that could do it. I don't want to pay for them to do it. I tried to do it. It went terribly wrong. So you're going to get audio only. And then I was recording it on this mobile unit that I have, and I thought I had enough gigabytes on the SD card. Well, it expired right before the end of the conversation. So there are some things we don't actually get to record. I can't even remember what we were talking about at that point. So yeah, real bummer, but there's a lot of content here. I think there's an hour and a half, close to 2 hours of content. It is audio only. Mike's a very good looking man, a wonderful man, just so you know. And I'll try and grab a picture and throw it up here too. So yeah, sorry about that. And then lastly, I just want to say, please subscribe, follow us, whatever it is. We would love to have you support more the podcast and have the podcast try and bloom a little bit, grow a little bit. Leave a comment too. If you got any podcasts you prefer to listen to more of, or any suggestions on who you think we could talk to, love to have that info as well. So cool. So let's get into this podcast, and I really hope you enjoy it. All right, Mike Toulmin.
Joby,
Thanks for, I don't need these.
you can see me.
I can see you. I can see clearly now. Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for the invitation.
And we're like passing ships, living in the same town. So this is a chance for us to catch up.
Yeah. You've been in my orbit.
So there's lots of ground to cover, lots to talk about. Is the headphones okay? We can do it without if you want.
Oh, I'm totally comfy. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're good.
So let's just dive in hard. I met you at Potluck. So I think that the listeners mostly know, if they've listened to many of our podcasts, that we moved from Vancouver to the island. And a lot of the reasons were what we'd gone through during COVID. Mm-hmm. And then somehow we found out about Potluck at your house, which was what you had been running all the way through the COVID stuff, which feels like an age ago.
Lifetime.
And I remember coming to your house, and you weren't there. You were fishing with your son. Mm-hmm. And it was like Tara and I walked in there and we're like, oh my God, we found our people.
Community.
Yeah. It was so, I was quite tearful when the share happened, because I don't know, we just been through war. Yeah. And then for the first time we could talk about things without, I think what I really liked about that Potluck was the fact that people weren't hating on everything. They were just sharing and moving on, and people were just trying to just make sense of it all. But it wasn't like did you see what so-and-so did today? Oh my God. Yeah, it wasn't all about that. I mean, that stuff came up in conversation afterwards maybe, but
Yeah, the ranting had died off by the time.
yeah, you can't do that forever.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was interesting the way the movement, if for a lack of better words,
Yeah.
developed, because at the very beginning, I know that we started throwing the potlucks September 3rd, 2021. And on the 13th is when the mandates happened. So anybody who didn't take the clot shot immediately was a second-class citizen. All of the propaganda, all of the fear-mongering, we're in the pandemic of the unvaccinated, all of that minutia that we had to navigate, that's when that all took into effect. And so the initial push for us to start throwing these potlucks was to build community.
Right.
Yeah, and so it was amazing to witness the growth or the birth of something that was way bigger than my vision or Carolyn's vision in the offset of it. And that was that the energy of everybody and the shares went from like, oh my God, what are we going to do? What is going on? How bad is this going to get? And so it was like this sense of what's happening to us and I'm under threat. And all of a sudden it went from that to I get to survive this. I get to grow through this. I get to become the ultimate warrior and decider of my own trajectory, my own course. And so the shares went from really circling or orbiting fear. And all of a sudden it was like, okay, well, what's next? Right. And so this energy built, and every single week for a year and a half, we had a potluck, and every single week the vibration got more potent.
Yeah.
As people realized, well, one thing is one of the pushes with, I call it the cabal, the ruling class, parasitic class, not to be negative, but that's just what they
parasitic class.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a couple of things you dropped. The clop shot.
Yeah. Ask me how I really feel.
I will.
You already did. So one of their rules of war is to divide and conquer. And so what we did at this time was we did the exact opposite of what they want. They want you 6 feet apart. They want you disconnected. They want you to watch the news and believe it. And we turned the TV. Well, we've never owned a TV personally, not in my house. But typically people stopped paying attention in our community to what the news was saying, because it's obviously bullshit, right? It's total lies. And so we just started building community, and it was just amazing. But we still feel the fallout of that every day. You know, we'll meet people in the community who had no hope. They were absolutely without community, without any kind of circle that they can rely on and depend upon, without resources. And when we bump into these individuals who had the audacity to exercise self-determination and autonomy, and they gush about how their lives were transformed from sitting and breaking bread with other like-minded, conscious, connected people. Yeah. And to experience the fallout of that on a daily or weekly basis is such a, it's a treasure.
Yeah. I mean, you guys used to clean your whole house up on a Friday.
That was a bonus.
Yeah, that was a bonus.
Yeah.
But like serious preparation. Like it wasn't like just, hey, come on over. Cause I think you maxed out at 30 people. So it got to the point where if you didn't sign up quick, you weren't going to get in.
That's right.
Because it was like this underground nightclub,
Yeah. What happens in Fight Club stays in Fight Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I heard at the beginning you had to like leave your phone in your truck, park up the street.
Yeah.
Like it's hard for me to remember that. It feels like that we've almost forgotten some of because it was traumatic, and you kind of, holy shit, we actually had to do that, like sneak around.
Yeah, it was surreal, very 1984, and exciting.
Yeah.
It felt like a watered down version of the Diary of Anne Frank almost.
Yeah.
Not that I'm trying to compare it to that, but there was just so much awareness of getting in trouble. Like I remember at one point when it was around Christmas, may have been Christmas of 21, maybe 22, I can't recall which. But you weren't allowed more than 10 people in your house over the Christmas holidays.
Right.
Right, at any one point.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh, well, here's a hell of a good reason to have 30 people over.
Rebel.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah.
So what we did was we would have people park in the Island Corridor Railway right-of-way at the end of our lane.
Yeah.
And then they'd walk in, and we called it stealth mode. And so we'd have people walk in single file, not talking, and the snow's falling. It's cold night. This is one of the particularly memorable evenings that we hosted. And we had like 30, 35 people come over. This is before we set the limits, right? So it was just packed.
Yeah.
All the curtains are drawn. We've like taped like sheets up on the window because if the neighbors report it, there's going to be police, right?
Yeah.
And so we enacted stealth mode through our communications on Telegram, and everybody just single file. And you know what's really cool is some people heard about it. We didn't know them yet.
Yeah.
And so they found themselves crawling into walking into our basement door unannounced, because that's how it was. They were directed to do it.
Yeah.
They didn't know me. They didn't know Carolyn. And then they go up the stairs from our unfinished basement and kind of open the door to our kitchen and are like,
surprise!
Am I in the right house? Yeah. Come on in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it was exciting. I remember for me, the trucker convoy was like peak. I wonder if I should turn that dishwasher off. It's kind of loud, hey?
It's not bothering me, but
no, it'll probably tune out in the thing. Yeah. That kind of like feeling, because I think you and I, it was clear very quickly that we were kind of on the same page as far as I feel like sometimes I was born in the wrong era. Like I feel like I was made
wielding a sword is where you belong.
I was made for a black and white kind of life, like where it's like that is the enemy, go kill the enemy. Like all of this stuff, like having to take care of bills and do this and go that. Like I can do it, but I become my best self when it's just like the boat's sinking. How are we going to make this boat make it to shore? Then I just turn into like really peaceful, like, and so I felt like during the convoy where we were really maligned, and it was like the lines were getting vivid, much more vivid. It was like, us and them, especially in Canada. Right. And yeah, I just woke up. Like I felt like so alive, even though it was very tiring and demanded a lot. Yeah, I look back on those times with like, yeah, it was good. It was rich.
Well, it really defined us. Like I'm not exactly sure on the statistics, but approximately 10% of Earth's population that had access to the vaccines didn't take it. Mm-hmm. So in Canada, if we've got, I don't know, we had 37 million. Well, there's a very small percentage of us that didn't take it, but we all stood up.
Yeah. At
one point. And we took notice as a collective, and we stood up. We said, enough. We're not just going to roll off. We're not going to be walked upon. We're going to be heard.
Right.
And I think that a really big turning point for Canadians who weren't aware, who took the shot because they thought they were doing the right thing, God bless them. Like I'm not. No. Like I don't hold a charge or judgment. There was $100 billion campaign to gaslight the fuck out of everybody. Yeah. To get them to take the shot, do the right thing. Yeah. Do it for grandma, because obviously it only works if everybody takes it. Which doesn't make. Anyway, so we stood up. We decided that this isn't going to work this way, and I think that we really solidified an identity that I hadn't seen, or at least been witness to, and I'm almost 50. In my lifetime, where we've got a reputation as a people who are very docile and easily swayed and polite, and not necessarily the king on the king's journey, the warrior in the garden, And I think that it really, if 10% of us stand up all the time, we will win, right? And I think that to me was what was so exciting about 2021 and 2022, January, February of 22, when the trucker convoy really took form and then took off. Is we demonstrated that action could be taken. And the point I was leading to, and now I'm going to conclude, is that a lot of people who weren't aware of the tyranny and the lies and the collusion and the fraud that was happening, they would see the behavior of the people in real time on overpasses. Truck stops, old ladies cooking all night long just to feed people on the convoy. And these are loving human beings, conscious, kind, loving, caring human beings who are standing up in peace, peacefully protesting. And then, so the sleepers would see this. They'd see the action. They'd see the behavior real time. They would pay witness or tribute to it. And then they'd watch the TV, CNN, CBC, ABS, whatever station. And they would see the lies. And it was like, wait, this and that don't match. And I saw with my own eyes what happened. And then I see on the TV what you're saying happened. And that in itself was a massive wake-up call, where millions and millions of Canadians who would never have come to be aware of the deception this quickly, boom, they're snapped on. And then might not. It just takes one thing. You just have to just have to set a spark. Just one little thing. Yeah. And sometimes that's the snowball that starts rolling down the hill. And who knows how long before that sets up. And I got a good friend, of course I won't mention any names. And every time I see him and I see a chemtrail, I'm like, oh, it's a weird looking cloud, eh? And he looks up and he goes, a jet stream. And I was like, what is a jet stream? Well, it's when there's moisture at the back of the airplane jet engine and it heats up, right? So you got that condensate trail. But if it doesn't disappear and it goes from horizon to horizon, obviously it's not a contrail, it's a chemtrail, right? And so these little seeds that are planted over time, who knows when they sprout? Yeah.
So you believe in the chemtrails?
Well, I can prove them.
Yeah, I was listening to a guy day before yesterday. They were talking about the big store, because I think this guy was he seeds clouds for a living, and he was on some talk show and I guess he was getting blamed for the storm because he was seeding the day before.
This is in the States.
Yeah. And
246 flash flood warnings in like 3 or 4 days.
Yeah. But he was saying that, because he does that for a living, he was saying the ones, the jets ones, it's like ice, right? Or something. Like when it comes out of the big Boeing 747s.
At elevation 30,
At elevation 47. Yeah, it's what you're seeing is ice forming. Like he wasn't saying that chemical, like clouds aren't seeded. He was saying full on, like they are but yeah, it was an interesting take on it. I don't know if all of those trails are chemical, we see.
Well, you can...
But when you see them cross like this, like a grid.
Yeah. Well, it's really easy to figure it out, right? Yeah. If you get a flight tracker app on your phone, it'll tell you every single flight that's going overhead, whether it's going to Alaska or Campbell River. So you'll be able to find out which flight is where and at what time it's going to arrive, where it should be in contrast to where you are. It's really easy to figure out. And when none of these planes are showing up on any flight tracker apps, we know they're not passenger airlines, right? So we can logically remove that from the equation. So then there's just a series of questions that you would probably want to ask. Oh, what's their business? What are they doing? You know, the Trudeau government committed in 2021, I believe it was on CBC, $8 billion to NORAD. NORAD is responsible for geoengineering. And that's the cover, as I see it, for what they're doing. And if you were to test the soil around here 100 years ago, you'd find no aluminum.
Right.
And you find a massive, 2010, I think there was like 13 parts per million, and now it's like 13,000 parts per million.
Really?
Yeah. It's insane. Yeah. And you're supposed to have 0%. So, it's not a mystery that aluminum is linked to autism, Alzheimer's, dementia. We got a brand new dementia ward in Comox because it's more and more prevalent. So
everything's on the rise, right?
Well,
right now, cancer, turbo cancer.
It's amazing.
So what? So the COVID, like I'm interested to know the Mike before COVID and the Mike now. Like, was it like for me? COVID was my wake up, because before that, I didn't give a shit about the news. I didn't give a shit about conspiracy theories or whether the moon landing was real or anything like that. Like I really couldn't care. I just was doing my thing, playing music, and then we were backed into a corner and told, you have to do this. Yeah. And then it was like, okay, you're asking us to do it for our children. And then Tara, thank God, was the one that was like, something doesn't feel right about this. Yeah. But before that, Tara actually was kind of not into vaccines for the children. And I just followed her lead.
So lucky.
before COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was an awakening. But then once you see that the emperor's not wearing any clothes, once you pull the curtain back, you just see all of it, right? I mean, you can't, it's like you see one thing and then the whole thing is like, it is like seeing the Matrix. So for you, was COVID that wake up, or before COVID were you into?
When I became an adult, so between 20 and 25, when my brain was developed, my journey was a spiritual journey. My wake up was a spiritual one. Excuse me. And after 2020, the PSYOP, that's when that was my political wake up.
Right.
For a lack of a better description. Absolutely. Same as yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't give a shit about conspiracy theories. And now I'm like, oh yeah, well, mostly it's just conspiracy fact.
Yeah, I think I read the other day, the only difference between a conspiracy theory and reality is 6 months.
Exactly. And it's so true. I mean, every door you knock on in this regard, you open the door to what you said, what we suspected, and I mean, how far down the rabbit hole we want to go is, it's all, everything keeps aligning. Everything keeps checking. I get to a point where I can just make assumptions now.
Yeah.
If, like, for example, if the FDA approves it, don't touch it. And if they're trying to crush it, you want to get some of that. And that's, it's a metaphor, but it's also real.
Yeah, believe the opposite of what you're being told on the mainstream, and it's probably correct.
Yeah, probably spot on.
Yeah.
Load up on that stuff.
Yeah.
Don't eat that or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't take that pharmaceutical intervention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely 2020. That was when I think,
started buying guns, storing.
Legally. Everything's legal. All in the up and up.
Would you consider yourself a prepper? Because I've seen your basement.
I am a prepper. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was 2020.
Yeah, really. I remember, and I remember going through, I remember reading the paper in October of 21 and getting notification in the Comox Valley Record that the 5G grid was going to be turned on. And so fast forward to December, when everybody's got COVID, I think it's radiation sickness. I think that COVID is a cover to initiate 5G globally. That's just my opinion. I tap the table.
Yeah. So you think that COVID, what do you think COVID is?
I think COVID, well, if you look at influenza from in Canada,
right.
Go to the CDC website and look up influenza cases in Canada, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. You're going to notice that in 2020 and 2021, there was basically no influenza.
Okay.
So anybody who was sick had COVID. So I don't think that influenza saw a bigger virus come through and, oh, excuse me, I'll just step back over here and you take over. I don't think that's what happened at all. You look at where they say COVID started, and that was Wuhan, China. Wuhan, China, facts, you can fact check this, was the first province in China to initiate their 5G grid from border to border, all sides. And then you can follow. It's
really distracting me, man. Sorry.
No worries. You can follow the hotspots for COVID,
right,
all throughout the world, based on if you were to get a map of where 5G was turned on, like when New York City was the hotspot. You remember in the news when New York City was just getting decimated. Everybody was on remdesivir. And in ventilators.
Yeah, and supposedly filling up semi-trucks full of bodies.
Yeah, which, they were killing a lot of people with remdesivir, but it wasn't COVID. That was when they turned on the 5G grid in New York City.
So you think that the vaccine was was 5G?
I think that the vaccine was the delivery of a payload for the human species that can be controlled with frequency.
Oh.
Yeah. And so for example, if you look at Vancouver Island all through 2020 and most of 21, it was this anomaly, an oasis, no COVID, no cases, no hospitals are overrun. Everybody pretended there was. You get out and bash your pot, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
But there wasn't people lining up, and you go to the hospitals and walk around. I took videos. It was a ghost town. And then what do? They turn 5G on. They give us notice in the paper, as they're supposed to. And
that was the first time 5G was turned on the island.
October, in Courtney. I don't know. I didn't read the papers to see when it got initiated in
Mm-hmm.
Victoria or Nanaimo or wherever else, but
Okay.
in Courtenay, because we live there, right? So October,
Mm-hmm.
Courtenay's turned on.
Hmm.
By December, you can look this up on the CDC website.
Mm-hmm.
Courtenay, not Comox Valley, Courtenay is a hotspot in BC for COVID. 86 cases by
Hmm.
December. So getting back to the prepper, I'm sitting in my dining room suffering from radiation sickness, which is 60 megahertz, which is 5G, loading rice into Mylar bags, oxygen absorbers, sealing, prepping, packing.
Buying ammo.
Yeah, doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Put December of 21, I turned my shop into a school, and we had 30 sovereign men and women get their RPAL.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple of really cool, aware coaches or teachers come in and get everybody their RPAL.
RPAL for being able to use the rifle.
Being able to buy ammunition,
Right.
restricted or non-restricted, so
Right.
restricted, unrestricted firearms,
Yeah.
and of course ammunition. Yeah.
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 Exciting.
Yeah, it was, yeah. And back to what you were saying earlier, it was a very exciting time,
Mhm.
you know, and I've been feeling a bit of a push. And maybe it's just the spidey senses, a little hair standing up on the back of my neck, but I've been feeling the drive to start the potlucks up again.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking about that the other day, actually.
Round 2,
I was like,
preemptive strike.
yeah, it was like a thought that came in and out of my head. I was like, I wonder if Mike would ever, just thinking about all those people out there, you know, and how like some of the elderly folks were just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And just the folks that woke up were not the folks that you would think woke up, and the folks that stayed asleep were not the folks that you would think would stay asleep, right? Like,
I remember the shock. You? On both sides of that coin.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, they say, I don't know what the percentage is, but a high percentage of people, when push comes to shove, would rather be told what to do
Than determined.
than to stand up against the masses and say, I don't think this is a good idea. You know, I mean, I had people in my life like were hardcore punk rockers, you know, like hard,
just
like
roll over.
yeah, totally. And I was at a funeral about a year ago, and these guys were there, and they were still like, we had salad at the end of it, or like there was like carrots and stuff after the funeral, and they were like, do you think, who touched those? I'm like, bro.
Everybody?
I'm like, bro, it's like 5 years ago. Like, what do you do? And they were still like, and these were the guys that were super like anti-establishment, you know? So yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know where it's good or bad to start the potluck, but there was some beautiful people there.
Yeah.
And it does feel like we've all kind of gone back into the river, right? It was a nice way to bring people. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder whether, you know, I've been talking to a lot of people on this podcast who have come out of an abusive religious experience, which is where my history is. So I
I
kind
can
of have a
relate.
lot of those in my history, and it's been very interesting. Kind of, you know, I've got a woman. I haven't aired her podcast yet, but she just came out. She was heavy into ayahuasca. She went to the Amazon. She would do it like 6 times a year. She was part of this group. They would sing the hymns and the daimi and all of this stuff. And I was shocked to hear during the podcast, she goes, I had to leave there. I was starting to realize it was like a cult. And, you know, and she had asked me to go to that thing, and I was like, I recoiled from it. So I remember sitting in your potluck and feeling very triggered. The
Right.
same as when I went to men's group. I felt very triggered by this organized, because my history is everything that starts like that does not end too well, because you start to have rules, and then you start to have someone in charge, and then you start
Hierarchy.
yeah, it just naturally happens, right? I mean, when you start to grow, you kind of need some rules, and then you get, well, who's the boss here? Oh, I guess he's the boss, and then we need a building because our living room's too small, and now we need money. So I've always been a bit standoffish about things growing. There seems to be this point where things grow and they start to get messy. What do you think about that?
Critical mass. I think.
Because you've talked about community, and,
Yeah.
you know, what's your thoughts about how to keep that pure?
I don't have a lot of knowledge based on experience about communities that are over 100 or over 500. But I feel like once you get over 100 in a community, then it just naturally gravitates that there's going to be a hierarchy. And I've been often considering, Carolyn and I don't see eye to eye on everything, and this is one of those things. I've often considering, given the situation over the last 5 years of living on a large piece of land, which would only be able to afford by taking on other landowners, right? And the amount of work that would need to go into making that work, making it function in a way that is predictable and safe, with a good exit strategy for anybody who's involved, because there's finances involved and a lot of emotions with money, would be, it feels like a lot of work. Both Carolyn and I would much rather be in a position where we could afford whatever, 200 acres and to develop it, the infrastructure needed to receive, 80 people and have a community and be in control of the land and have the ultimate say versus a board of directors. We'd much rather do that than have an equal vote amongst 40 families. Because if 21 of them want to do something and 19 don't, then if you don't want that, all of a sudden it's not your vision anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, from my experience where I've struggled, where I've seen where the hurt arose was actually having a charismatic leader that didn't want to be confined by rules. And so I had this argument just the other day with a fellow. I was like, if I was to go to a church now, which I won't, but if I did, I would want to go to a church that was much more old school, had a big, 12 board of directors, and every decision had to run, and everything took forever. Checks and balances. Because where I've seen damage happen is when there's a charismatic leader that just does whatever he wants on a whim. And people are just, humans. It's a human condition.
Yeah.
The power corrupts. And so when you're in a place of leadership, you're in a place of power. And you can stay pure for so long, but you're ignorant to believe that you can get through that without that kind of grabbing
Being
onto
swayed.
you. Yeah, you start to think, yeah, I'm kind of the shit. Like, for real, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and it's a scary place to be, and that's when the hurt starts to set in. So
Damage is done, yeah.
yeah, I really struggle with, I lived on an Amish community because my dad was really into community living, and he wrote a little book on it, and he was always harping on about community.
Is he still, or did he pass?
He's dead now.
Yeah.
But we went and lived in an Amish community in Birmingham, England, and it was this huge stately home on an estate with small apartment buildings on it, and it was a big piece of property right in the heart of Birmingham. And they all the women wore doilies. It was classic Amish, right? And
Did your mom wear a doily?
no. So they were very inviting. Like you could have showed up and looked like green hair and rings in your face. They don't care. Like tattooed all over. They were very accepting. But if you wanted to join, then you would have to. Yeah, but I somehow it works because they did set this bar as like, if you want to be part of your paddling group, you row boats, you got to have a certain level. Otherwise, you're just not going to make the cut, right? Like, and I think that
Committal. You want to be committed.
Yeah. So I saw it working, but I'm sure that people want to bust free from that. But we stayed there for a week or so.
Really?
And they had a factory in the middle, and they made toys for handicapped kids that got shipped out all over the world. So really industrious business people. But what was so beautiful was in the factory, we went and worked in the factory. So they say, oh, you're on the drill press today. And just sit there. And you would rotate after lunch break or coffee break. So you never got bored. And you'd be standing beside sometimes a 20-year-old and sometimes an 80-year-old. And in the lunchroom, the way that the old and the young interacted was so cool, which we didn't have in the world, right? Like there was this separation, like, oh, you're old. And I just saw this, like, they were all joking with each other and this real respect. But it's not for everyone because you don't have your own house. You live in a house with other couples and other people and kids, and you all eat together around a table. So there's not like, your own little family unit, which I think people would struggle with.
Some, yeah. I imagine it seems like a positive experience, though, all in all, for you.
It was super positive. I don't know if it called to me as far as joining it.
Right. Well, obviously not.
But they seemed happy.
Yeah. Fulfilled.
Yeah, because, it's weird, right? I mean, like the trappings of the world are kind of tiring. Like these guys are like, yeah, we have a horse and trap, and I don't want a Lambo.
It's attractive.
We just do our simple thing. I think during COVID they flourished, right, in the States.
Must have. They just kept doing what they were doing. Nobody
Yeah.
got sick. Weird.
Well, and they're
They
their
don't
own
take
kind
shots. They
of
don't take
ecos.
vaccines. They don't
Yeah.
take any of those medical interventions.
I think it ripped through their community, and then they were done. And they had down in like the states, like Missouri and stuff or whatever, where there's lots of them. Down in Texas, they had lumber yards. They had the grocery. They just let everything was open. They were making a killing because everything else shut down. They're like, we're not.
Get us sick, we'll get over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot to be said for that type of living. It almost seems like there has to be the fear of God somehow in these communities for it to actually function, or greed and all of those low vibration emotions and all of that takes over. At least it seems to, and if you have the fear of God, retribution tends to keep people in check.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Faith is usually a big part of it.
Yeah.
I guess you're right, because it kind of overshadows the whole movement.
Yeah. I mean, I was raised in a religious cult myself and Jehovah's Witnesses. And I found it very contradictory. I didn't find it to be a draw that would keep me around. I left home at 15. I was within my parents' orbit. I wasn't certainly left to my own devices or fending for myself, but I had a lot more space, and I just pulled away from that belief structure, the ideology that my mother carried.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me about 8 years to reprogram from 15 to 23, and then I felt like I was mentally cleared out of it. But the one thing that I took from it, that I gleaned from it, is that how we treat others is how we get treated. And there's some fundamental basic principles that I took from that experience that registered, that really resonated with me, and that I carried through into my adult life and throughout that life so far. And so I can say in all honesty, though I'm not a religious man, I take some value from that experience. Adversity always builds character. And so there's
so many good, I mean, if you look at the Bible, I mean, there's so many good stories.
Yeah.
The Good Samaritan, treat others like you'd want to be treated. Love your neighbor as yourself. I mean, these are
good guidelines.
Yeah. I mean, even I remember, like, we grew up, the 10 Commandments, it was always like this big, like, thundering voice from heaven, like, do not covet your neighbor's wife. And then you actually look at the commandments, and it's not, in my opinion, it's not a God that's trying to be a killjoy. They're actually really smart. Like, if you covet your neighbor's wife, you could get shot.
Yeah.
He could come and beat the shit out of you.
Not appreciate your own.
Yeah. Or steal.
Yeah.
You could get in trouble. Like, these things aren't, they're just life, like human rules, like so we can coexist with each other.
Baseline.
Yeah. Because really, if it's a free for all and there are no rules.
Yeah.
Then again.
Get chaos.
Then again, we're bucking the system.
Well, there's some things
tension there, right?
Some things are worth bucking.
So that path is like standing up against the power that be, I mean, the COVID, the injection, it's still a loose cannon floating around. I mean, we're seeing turbo cancers and all kinds of crazy things, but people are still refusing to
put the two together, figure it out.
I can't tell you how many people in my life, in conversations around me, close to me, are like, yeah, I don't know what happened. They just died of a heart attack.
Weird.
I don't know what happened. They just died of a heart attack. Like, again. Super fit people,
Yeah. You're not normally dying from heart attacks.
Yeah.
You're super healthy. You eat well.
But there's no correlation to, well, let's just look what you've done over the last 4 years that wasn't what you normally do. Anything? Yeah. Did you start smoking? No. Did you start drinking? No. Did you have a vaccine that wasn't really experimented with, wasn't completely cleared and just experimental?
5 shots.
Oh yeah, I took 5 of those, but that's not it.
Yeah.
It's this weird sticking your heels so far in the ground.
So many people are so far down that path that to acknowledge that it's hurting them would crush them. Like it would just be a complete flip of their reality and their whole entire belief structure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they wouldn't do that. Who's they? What? The people, the parasitic class? They wouldn't want to make money off of sick people. 8+ years Pfizer's been around. They've never cured anything. Ever. Mm-hmm. Not one cure. Look it up. Good luck. You'll need a long time and you're going to come out hands empty. not one cure. So yeah, I have a good friend. Of course, again, I won't mention any names. He took 3 shots and he called me one day. He's like, "You're not going to believe this, Mike." I'm like, "Well, try me." He goes, "I got COVID." Well, I don't believe you, but not for the reasons you think. You've got radiation sickness, bud, and that's fine. But, like he takes 3 shots and then gets COVID, takes a 4th shot, and now he's got blood clots. He's on blood thinners for life. He's turning 50 on the 18th, and he just can't put it together.
Yeah.
I'm like, you got blood clots, and he goes, "Oh yeah, it's bad." I was talking to my doctor. He's like, it's bad genetics. I'm like, what? That's not bad genetics.
Yeah.
That's mass productions of spike proteins, blood clotting. What are you doing? But you can't even say it because they're just not putting it together.
Yeah. We still, I don't know if how we see these documentaries now about, the Auschwitz and, everything's kind of uncovered, and I wonder if the truth will ever come out about this. But en masse, like people actually look at it and not feel like you're a leper by talking about it, like in the mainstream.
Well, what is the mainstream? Because the mainstream used to be CNN and now it's Joe Rogan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right?
Good point.
Yeah. Tucker Carlson. Mm-hmm. That's mainstream. Mm-hmm. Look at the ratings. What happened and through 20, people stopped watching the news because the news is full of shit, and it's becoming very clear. I mean, back to what we were talking about with the convoy, and people were hearing the media say shit, and then they were watching it live going, that's not what happened, and you don't have to be brilliant, most of us aren't, to see that, compare the two and go, oh, no, something's off here, right? And so it is becoming more and more prevalent. It's becoming more non-taboo to talk about. And not only that, a lot of people are like, fuck taboo. I don't care. Like, you judge me, call me anti-Semite, whatever it is you want, racist. I don't care anymore. I'm just going to start telling the truth, and that's it. And then I'll be remembered for that. Like the conversation of, are you going to heaven or not? Well, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be honorable. I'm going to be equitable. And if I don't make it there, then I don't want to be there. Right. So, and same stands, like, whatever's coming after this, am I going to be remembered for someone who was pushed around, didn't protect myself, didn't protect my community, didn't protect my wife, didn't protect my children, didn't watch out my buddy's back? Am I going to be remembered as that guy? Or am I going to be remembered as someone who stood up, had the courage to speak my mind, in face of $100 billion gaslighting campaign to crush humanity into submission? Mm-hmm. So if I'm not welcome in whatever's coming after this, I don't want it. I'd much, the saying, do you want to live on your knees or die standing? Right? I don't want to live on my knees. I won't. And, it's not easy to be married to me. I God bless my wife, because I'm like, oh, honey, I'm not going to be the knees guy. So this is going to be stressful. There's going to be stress, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a pretty intense guy.
There's some intensity.
There's some intensity there.
Fire burning.
I hear you, man. I mean, I've said this multiple times. I'm like, we cheer when we watch Braveheart. When we see Robin Hood, and
exactly.
we see the hero that's standing up against the bad, big bad king.
Yeah.
Right.
King's journey.
And we all
journey.
Yeah. And we all the hero's journey. And we all stand up and cheer, and we say, yeah, don't bow down and kiss the ring. Don't do it.
And then we roll our sleeves up.
Exactly. Yeah, and Gladiator, all of them, name them. They just keep pumping them out because we're attracted to that. But when it's asked of us to do it, because in actual fact, those guys stood up against the masses. Like if you watch that Braveheart movie, everyone was telling him, dude, just kiss. All you got to do is acknowledge.
Kiss the ring.
Yeah, and he's like, on principle, I'm not going to do it. And I found myself during COVID being extremely disappointed in the lack of principle in people. And I don't know if that's the correct word, but it's like this lack of kind of, doing things because it's just wrong. That's just wrong. Like being pushed around and being told to do something before I have all of the facts in front of me, and we're living in a free country, I'm exercising my right. Like I was really outspoken on social media, not because I wanted to get a following. Yeah. It was simply out of pure rebellion. I didn't care if anyone saw it. Mm-hmm. I was like, I am just not going to be the one that quietly
goes off into the sunset.
Yeah, or quietly believes something but doesn't speak. Like
Right.
if you take a scripture out of it, you say, Jesus said, the lukewarm person, like I would rather you be hot or cold, but the lukewarm, I'd just spit you out of my mouth. Like I can't stand you, and it's like that kind of
Apathy.
malaise of just like, yeah, maybe you're right, maybe you're wrong. I just don't. I just want to go on holiday, so I'm just going to get it so I can go on vacation. It's like, really, come on, man. You don't got.
I've heard that too many times.
Yeah.
Really? You took it so that you could go to
have sushi.
Brown's Social House and have a fucking burger? What are you talking about?
It boggles me.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Easy times breed weak men, and then weak men breed hard times, and hard times breed hard men.
Right.
And so we've had a lot of easy times.
Yeah.
Like the boomer generation, they grew up out of the war, Second World War, and then Korea and Vietnam. That's where they grew up. And there's never a generation in human history that's had it easier than the boomers. The economy was good. There was money for everybody. Until early 70s, we had an asset-backed dollar in Canada and the United States. Everybody was making money.
Mm-hmm.
And that bred weak men.
Right.
And so that's, when you look around and you took the shot so that you could go to Brown's Social House, there's the marker, the tracer of a weak man.
Yeah.
Who's so disconnected from the generation that fought for what they believed in, literally died
Mm-hmm.
for what they believed in.
Mm-hmm.
Whether war is just or not, that's not the debate. They bled for what they believed in.
Mm-hmm.
And so now we've got a generation of children being programmed in our institution to not ask questions. They think they could be a cat if they want. You can be a fucking cat. Confused, completely disconnected from source, disconnected from themselves, think they're born in wrong bodies. Like all of these programs that we're running, it's going to breed hard men because the weak ones are going to die. The
Mm-hmm.
weak ones are going to breed themselves out of existence because they can't breed. Puberty blockers, surgeries, toxic chemicals, sterilization through vaccination.
Yeah. It doesn't have any longevity.
Well,
It's
breeding,
burn out.
the weakness is being bred out, ironically.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Well, it is, right?
Like in real time.
In real time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing good. It's nothing that I speak of with any kind of reverence. It's tragic. It's genocide in a sense, right? It's cultural, social, and human genocide.
Yeah.
And the reality is we're creating Sparta. We're creating a Spartan. I mean, how many people around you have died suddenly? I can list it off. It's always happening. Oh, this guy. Oh, this guy. You're walking with a cane now. You're 25. Okay.
No big deal.
Yeah.
So what do you mean creating Sparta?
Well, the Spartans.
I know what the Spartans. Yeah, the warriors.
Yeah. So, any weakness in their culture was killed at birth. Now, I'm not saying that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's not a good thing, but the weakness that we have in our society, the weak minds, they're not procreating. They're not in the same way because they're acquiescing. And the plan is, whether it's acknowledged or not, is to diminish Earth's population through vaccination. Bill Gates is on the record as saying it at a TED Talk. If we do a really good job on vaccinations, we might get the population down 10%.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what does that mean to you? How does that directly translate?
Yeah.
How do you, where do you come up with, right? So that's what they're doing. And so anybody who's, drinking the Kool-Aid, so to speak, constantly, believing what they're told to believe, thinking what they're told to think, watching and repeating what they hear from the mainstream narrative.
Believing that they're the scourge of the earth too.
Yeah.
Like feeling shit about being a human being.
Totally. Oh,
like
there's too many of us.
Yeah, there's too many of us. We're killing the environment. The whales should rule the world and we should just be maggots and be crushed under feet.
Totally.
It's horrible.
It's a horrible way to feel about yourself, and it's a horrible way to feel about your neighbor.
Well, in the Bible, it says God gave us dominion over the beasts of the air, but it's kind of being turned on its head now.
Yeah,
it's like let the forest grow. I mean,
we've sacrificed and surrendered autonomy, self-determination, self-governance. We've decided collectively, and this is 90% of humanity, that decisions about how we interact with this world, how we move through this world, should be better left to others.
Right.
It's a huge mistake. I mean, obviously, what is there? Like, is this your destiny to be an indentured slave for the entire of your years? Work till you're 65 and then you can enjoy your ailing body? That sounds terrible. What a shitty fucking game plan.
We'll stick you on a cruise ship.
Fuck, look at you go, bud.
Yeah.
It's a massive fail.
So it feels like we're dovetailing into sovereignty.
Yeah.
Which you are a firm believer in.
Yeah.
So explain that. Explain sovereignty. What is it? Why aren't we sovereign?
Yeah. Well, I think that the question, as I see it, the big
Like, what does sovereignty mean?
Self-determination, being a moral sentient being, having autonomy over your mind, body, and spirit, and your movement through time and space on Earth. That's how I see it. That's how I feel it. That's sovereignty means that there is no power that is greater than mine, as long as I'm not pushing my power on another, right? So I guide myself as a moral sentient being. I carry my own torch. I walk through life in an equitable and morally upstanding way with love in my heart, a warrior in a garden. That's my value. That's what I bring to this earth. That's my currency. And I resist any man or institution or governing body that tells me that I'm a subject to them. And if that means I die standing, I die standing. So the question that for me led me on this journey was, what is the instrument that gives the Crown in Canada a governance and autonomy or authority over me? What is that instrument? And so through my journey, I've learned that it's the record of live birth and the birth certificate. Is there someone here?
I think it's a cat.
That's what it is. Cat door somewhere.
Yeah.
My ears are really good right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
It's the vaccine.
Yeah, it's really kicking in. So it's a record of live birth. And so what I learned is on one of the boxes.
So that's the hook.
That's the hook.
That's the instrument.
Yeah. And so I'll get into how that instrument works. But the interesting thing about it is that it's the first contract that you signed. It's the first contractual agreement that you entered into in your life. No, you and me. You were born in England? England. Yeah, so same thing. It's the same control process, right? It's the same dominance. So this instrument is your contract with the Crown. Now, when I entered into contract with the Crown by way of the doc tender or the doctor, I was a month old. Now, I don't know any man or woman who's aware enough and has self-determination enough to be able to enter into a legally binding contract at the age of 30 days. It's not possible. So right away, we're talking about fraud, right? And so that's the baseline. But
your mom signs it for you.
That's right. Yeah. Right. But your footprint goes on the original,
right,
which you'll never see.
Right.
Right. That's your signature. And so that is your essence that they've stolen and they've laid claim to. And so when your mother and mine, and to no fault of their own, they were tricked like everybody else. When they signed that record of live birth, they signed a box with the heading informant. That's the name of that box. And informant in this application directly translates to disinterested third party. So when my mother signed the record of live birth as the disinterested third party, she handed over ownership of the cargo, me, the child, to the Crown.
How do you grab that definition?
It's literally says it on all of the old record of live birth, informant.
So informant, that's what
it translates to disinterested third party. Yeah. So that's the instrument that allows them egress onto your living land body and makes you a debtor, taxable, because they own you. And so the process I've been going through is to change the jurisdiction of my living land body, all that I am, from maritime admiralty into living on land. So a land common law.
So explain maritime admiralty.
All interactions on a civil or federal or provincial level are in the corporate world. So all contracts, they're all under the corporate umbrella in any commonwealth or first world nation. That's how it is. Right. It's all corporate. And so no living entity can be directed by a corporation. They can't enter into contract with a corporation. Like Michael Toulmin, non-all caps, can't enter into a contract with a corporate entity. There needs to be a liaison between the living man, Michael Anthony Hunt Toulmin, spelled with a capital M and then lowercase Michael, and Anthony Hunt Toulmin, same thing. The two don't, it's like oil and water, they don't mix. So the only way that a corporation like the Crown, because it's all corporate, can have jurisdiction over and governance over the living man is if I identify as a corporation. So if you look at your driver's license, your record of live birth, your birth certificate, your passport, any document you get from the Revenue Canada, it's all caps. Your whole name, all caps. When a name of something is all caps, that's a corporation. Your corporate number is your SIN number, your social insurance number, and you've got one. So that's your corporate number. So when we start interacting in the corporate world with our corporation, our corporate name, then they have jurisdiction over us. So creating a difference or a removal from the corporate world and introducing yourself into the private as a moral sentient being, you remove their jurisdiction. And so it's not easy.
You got to take the capitals off.
Well, you just got to stop operating or know when to operate as a corporation, right? So you can't go after a corporate entity for the debts of a living man. You can't go after a living man for the debts of a corporation, right? The trick is to be able to balance that unless you want to completely lose your ability to have healthcare, for example, here in Canada, right? Or drive on the roads. Like yes. there is a way to do it. I'm not there yet, where you can drive a car with a $10 million bond through ICBC and not have plates, not have a driver's license. I have a good friend of mine, Lord David. He's doesn't have a driver's license. He's been to court several times, like many times, and he's finally now being left alone. He's pretty sure that now it's.
He must get pulled over all the time because it's not like all the cops get this. Like, hey, you see this guy with
just do not detain now. So when they see his license plate, they're like, "Fuck."
Oh, so he has a plate. It's just not registered.
No, he does have a plate. This is two different examples. There's a couple of other individuals who don't have traditional plates, but this guy does.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's just do not detain because he just handed his driver's license back. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So with the tension I see with sovereignty and what I think a lot of people think is this taxes thing. So, I'm sovereign, don't need to pay my taxes. Where do you square, living on a place where our taxes are supposed to pay for road repair and sewer and power and all of this kinds of things. So how does that all connect in a way?
Well, you got your tax assessment for this property, yeah?
Property taxes.
Yeah. Did you take a good look at all the line items?
Probably not.
So if you took a look at all the line items, you'll see a dollar amount attached to schools, highways, all of these different things, right? So that's what municipal property taxes pay.
Right.
Yeah.
Property tax.
Yeah. So all income tax is a slush fund for the Crown. None of it stays here in Canada. None of it helps with infrastructure or healthcare or anything like that in Canada. It completely gets outsourced off of Canadian soil.
Goes to pay for missiles in Ukraine.
Whatever it is, it ain't helping you and me. Yeah. The Income Tax Act was brought into effect after the Second World War, and it was a voluntary Emergency War Measures Act. Look it up, to stimulate the economy after a hard war.
I've heard that.
And some people were patriotic, like they fed on the good people who had fought, bled for their country, bled for what they thought was right, regardless of whether they were misdirected. The foundation of their values and their ideology was in the good. They wanted to do good. They wanted to protect each other. I believe that, regardless. All wars are banker wars. I'm not going to digress, but they did what they thought was best. So it was a voluntary, temporary War Measures Act meant to be rescinded once the economy was stimulated. Why would they ever rescind it? Obviously, they didn't. We had schools, we had roads, we had healthcare, we had infrastructure, we had security, we had pensions for government workers. It was all there. We didn't have income tax until 1946. So
it's kind of like what they did in Vancouver by the Olympics. They're like, we're going to put the parking meters up for the Olympics, and then we're going to take it off again, but they never took it off.
You're not going to spend $1 billion putting parking meters up and then cut them down.
Yeah.
Fuck off. How many people didn't see that coming a mile away?
Yeah.
Yeah. Weak humans.
So the income tax is the one that you have issue with, not the property tax.
Yeah. Well, that's.
Which is in Canada, we pay massive amount of income tax.
Some do. Yeah.
Some do.
Yeah. I choose not to. And whatever consequences or stresses come to me, it's mine to bear. Yeah.
Do you ever, I mean, because people have done jail time for that, right?
People have done jail time for misfiling and fraud.
Right.
Yeah. There's no law in Canada that requires you to pay or file income tax. But if you enter into contract with them, you fill out their paperwork and you sign their paperwork, you've entered into contract and you're indentured to them.
Right.
So there's a way to do what's called an equitable, first of all, notice of repentance, where you repent for your sins, an equitable rescission of any legal documents or CRA documents that
you repent for your sins.
Yeah, the process. It's in.
What is your sin? By pulling out of the system.
Your sin is entering into contract with them to start with. So, excuse me, I've sinned. This was a poor choice. Equity allows for a solution. That's the way equity works. So the process I'm working on right now is fascinating to me. And, I've been in a long, long journey going through the sovereignty, the patriot processes, learning about equity, learning about how to, change my jurisdiction from maritime admiralty to land common law, what works, what doesn't, lots of mistakes, lots of.
I just want to clear this, like the maritime admiralty part. I've heard it a lot.
Yeah.
So was Canada founded on like the laws of Canada or were founded on maritime and they never transferred over? Like maritime is boats and navy, right?
The whole point of it is to take us out of our element. We're land creatures. So by putting it into maritime admiralty, we don't have any rights because we're not ocean dwelling creatures. The only right we have as corporations in a corporate world, Canada, the corporate crown of Canada or crown of England, it's all crown corporations, right? The only right we have is to not be discriminated against. And that's funny because what happened in 21 and 22, we were discriminated against. So even that right is on the table as to be chopped, right? So what I've been really focusing on and in school for quite some time now is to really cognize how equity works and how we can compel performance with it. And this, I am absolutely sure, is going to be the greatest determining factor in me and my family and my community experiencing true freedom, where we are completely left alone. And it's going to be I know it's already been proving to be difficult because the easiest thing they can do, the Crown, lawyers, judges can do, the easiest thing to do is plead ignorance. They don't know what you're talking about, right? And you use equity, compel performance. You can force judges to recuse themselves if they can't see the equity you're bringing. But it's a process, right? And you have to understand it. You have to be able to stand on it. You have to understand. You have to cognize it fully. You need to be able to bring it. And you need to be able to stay there. So if we bring equity and then we slip back into a patriot process, then we're being double-minded. And then they're going to call a psych ward on us. They're not going to take us seriously. So if we start bringing equity, we have to stay in that lane. So that's what's really firing me up right now is really to grasp the whole breadth of what equity encompasses and how it's functioning and what it's designed for. And yeah, it's been an absolutely fascinating journey as I've already started working towards compelling performance with equity. Yeah.
So you've actually spent time in court?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've had 3 cases in my years. Excuse me, dealing with small claims court, but that was never surrounding maritime admiralty law or change of jurisdiction or anything to do with that sovereignty. So that was just small claims court for business. So I've been to court lots with some of my fellow sovereigns who are using different types of processes, patriot processes, to compel the performance, and it's working. But it's not working the way I want to work. my value right now, or what I value right now, the idea that I value right now is just to be left alone. I don't need to redeem the estate and get access to my QSIP and billions of dollars. I don't need that. I'm not looking for that. I can generate wealth. I can manifest everything I could possibly need in this abundant world we live in.
You used to believe that though, right?
Well,
like you pivoted
it's there. It's there.
Right.
And
you got to pick your battles, you feel?
It's just not mine. Yeah, we all have to pick our battles. That's just not the battle I want. And you know, like we get these money signs in our eyes, and we get dollar signs. We want to follow the money. We want to follow the money. And as I grow and mature and evolve spiritually and otherwise, I want peace. I want peace. I don't want what isn't earned. I'm abundant. I'm a very wealthy man in all ways. I don't need I don't need any handouts. You know, everything I need, I can generate. I just want you to leave me the fuck alone. And that's not a lot to ask. I was born on earth. I'm not a subject. I'm not a slave. None of those labels fit. So some of the things I've been learning about equity and about maritime admiralty court law and how it's structured and how they present it and what it is are very different things. So have you ever been to court?
Yeah.
Okay. So you know that you need a lawyer to represent you or re-present you because you're a legal idiot. So you can't.
I've represented myself before.
But this is what they want, right? Like same. I've represented myself every time.
Yeah.
I've never had a lawyer.
Yeah.
But that's what they want. That's the norm, right? So you get a lawyer to represent you, who argues on your behalf, who creates commercial dishonor after commercial dishonor on your behalf. And then you settle, you plea, you enter your own plea, you charge yourself. So every time we enter into court, if you're representing yourself and you argue, you submit evidence, or you testify, you're entering into commercial dishonor. Every time. But you don't know that. You wouldn't have known that if I hadn't said it.
Because you're playing by their rules.
Though that's what they want you to do. They want you to enter into commercial dishonor because then it diminishes your rights. It identifies you as a corporate entity who can't be self-determining and can't be trusted because you're a legal idiot. So now you have a lawyer who speaks on your behalf, and then 98% of the time you lose. So if we bring equity, we don't testify, we don't submit evidence, and we don't argue anything.
So what do?
We ask questions. Your Honor, does the record reflect that I've submitted the documents? I've accepted the documents for return and closure of the account? It's a question. So if we keep the courts busy with questions and we pose everything as a question, there's no commercial dishonor, and judge after judge are they going to be forced through time, as long as you stay in your lane, like I was saying earlier, to either recognize the equity you're bringing and settle the matter, close the account, because judges are basically bankers. They're meant to. They're case after case is all about counting. It's all about money. So their job is to settle the account. And so when you accept and return something for closure, the accountant, the banker, that's their job, is to settle it. So if they can't see the equity you're bringing, and they don't recognize that you've accepted and returned the offer for settlement and closure, then they must recuse themselves. So Honor, if you can't recognize the equity that I'm bringing and the fact that the presentment you've given me has been accepted and returned for settlement and closure, then isn't it required by your laws that you recuse yourself from this case? There's a question. There's no commercial dishonor. You're staying in your lane and you're compelling performance.
These judges must just look at you like,
fucking hate it.
What the hell?
And
because they don't know that
they know everything you're doing. They know 100%.
Really?
100%.
So when you stand up there, they're like, oh, here we go, another one of these guys.
And what they're going to do, and this is like one of my mentor's students has gotten 9 judges in a row to recuse themselves because.
By recuse, what does recuse mean?
Recuse themselves of the case, where they have to step down and let another judge preside over it because they refuse to see the equity. So they have to recuse themselves.
By equity, you mean the evidence?
Well, the equity that we're bringing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they can't recognize the equity you're bringing, or they refuse to, and they plead ignorance, then they can't oversee the case because it's their job to settle the account and to allow for an equitable solution. That's their job.
But what gets you to court in the first? Do you get summoned to court?
Yeah, you get charged through information summons, typically.
From mostly what? Like not paying your taxes?
Whatever it is that they have that is a charge or a lien
Getting
against
pulled
you.
over with no plate on, whatever you've done to piss them off.
Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
I mean, whenever I've been to court, it seemed incredibly unjust. And I've even said to a judge, there's no justice here.
Oh,
because I've been
no justice before
I've been
their eyes.
100%, because I'm in construction like you.
Yeah.
I've been 100% right. And all I want to do is settle. There's no winners, there's no losers. And I felt so betrayed by the system. As far as justice, it just doesn't seem to be justice. It seems like, yeah, it did seem to me like this is just a machine. Pump you in, get you out. But as far as actual evidence and like trying to get justice, which costs you, right? If you're going after justice as a judge, your heart's in it.
Yeah.
You're like, hang on a minute. Oh, hang on a minute. So this might take an extra hour in court, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Because I want to what they really want is next.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling that over and over again. And I was disgusted by it. I actually said that, Judge, this is disgusting to me.
Yeah.
You know, that I am going to have to pay 50%. Like we're going to have to split this.
Yeah. They don't care. Every single case is bonded. Every single case makes that judge money, makes the bar money, makes the lawyers, the Crown prosecutor. They're all getting paid from this.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't care
about justice.
They care about getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
The lawyers, the Crown prosecutors, the Bar Association, the judges, they're batting 980, 98% win rate in a system that's completely designed for them to win.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and I've watched several sovereign men and women go to court and spin their wheels.
The sovereign folks or the judges. This is the whole mechanism.
Spinning their wheels, like the people who are standing before the judges, with their common law process. And what they didn't realize, and I didn't realize until recently, is that in any court, customs, and custom is something that's relevant specifically to that courthouse. Custom supersedes law, including common law, which is law. So if you go into a courtroom and they have a custom, because they've seen you before or someone else has seen that guy before and they know their tricks, if they have a custom that removes the credible value of the common law process you're bringing, you'll never know why you don't get any traction, why you're just spinning your wheels. You'll never know, because custom supersedes law. And so for me, when I witnessed this, and I did many times, many pilgrimages to Vancouver to witness people going to court and spinning their wheels, and they're good men, and they're honorable, and they're just, and their cause is noble. And there was something missing. Every single time I went there, I was like, they're completely trumping you, and there's a reason for it. There's a mechanism. What is that? And so I came to be aware that custom supersedes law.
By custom, I mean, custom to me
custom
is like
at court. Like I'll give you an example.
Like it's a customary.
A customary custom, yes. So I'll give you an example. If the judge decides that all presentments in the court must be on legal size paper and 20-point font in New Times Roman, for example.
Okay.
And the Crown prosecutor and the other judges and the lawyers all acquiesce, that there's a custom.
Okay.
That's a custom. And so if you submit evidence that's not 20-point font New Times Roman on legal size paper, they won't tell you why you don't have any traction. Their custom supersedes what you've brought.
Yeah, it's like foreign language now.
Yeah, and so judges get together every 6 months, whether it's circuit court judges, federal, provincial court judges, they all get together and they have a conversation. They're all part of Freemasons. They're all part of these secret societies. And they generate customs that overwrite all of this, you know, the common law processes that are popping up everywhere because people everywhere are having enough. They're done. So they create these customs, and then the patriot processes get brought to court using land common law practice, and they don't get any traction. And so I witnessed this. I realized, okay, custom supersedes law, but custom does not supersede equity. Equity trumps everything. Equity, when brought...
And by equity, you mean evidence?
No, bringing equity to anything, right? It's just a different legal process. So when we bring equanimity into anything, and we compel performance through
Because I
questions.
keep thinking equity is like money.
Yeah. Well, it is.
Or
It's your
goods.
currency. It's your currency. It's
Okay.
a spiritual currency, but it's
Okay.
your currency nonetheless. So when we bring equity, they can't write a custom to supersede equity. Equity, when brought properly, and you stay on it, you stand on it, and you stay firm in it, makes you equal to the judge and any process that they want to put it on you or against you, or charge they want to lean against you. So as I witness this, and as I learn about it, it becomes absolutely clear to me that although the Patriot process has lots of value and has had many successes, for me, bringing equity is the ultimate path to peace. And so that's the path I choose. I'd like to be the warrior, but in my own garden.
But in your own garden?
The warrior in the garden. I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Interesting. So when these court cases when everyone's like spinning wheels, does the judge just throw his hammer down and say, you owe me? Like,
there could be a ruling, or they could just book another hearing and just keep dragging you back to court, wasting your time, wasting your energy.
mm-hmm.
Will you try another piece of paper and you submit more evidence and you enter into further commercial dishonor, completely derailing yourself? Yeah.
The main thing that what you say you want, you guys just want to be left alone. Like, obviously the COVID was a blaringly, blatantly obvious control effort. How else do you define being left alone? Like, stop telling me to pay 50% of my income to you.
Stop expecting anything. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's simple. It's just leave me alone. That's right. That's where I'll be. You can have me back on your podcast in a decade, and we'll have a very different conversation when I'll be on the other side of this process that I'm in.
Yeah. And then if a police officer pulls you over for doing 60 and an 80, so he's telling you,
I'm going too slow.
80 and a 60.
Yeah, Mustang Sally.
I'm dyslexic, bro. Is that leave me alone, or is that no?
I sinned.
I'm riding on your road.
I sinned.
Sinned.
I repent. I'm speeding.
You're getting a bit Christian there.
Well, it's a commercial application, right? It's a commercial. They're in the corporate world, right?
Right.
Police officer is the agent of the crown, so he's acting as the all caps name, the corporation, right? So I'm in their corporate jurisdiction, driving on their roads, and I'm driving what they consider to be reckless.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be able to accept and return the ticket, the presentment that they give me in court, and like land taxes, you can accept and return your yearly land tax bill, and instead of it going to the Ministry of Finance from your bank account, that debt can be serviced through the Federal Reserve window. And every country has a Federal Reserve. If your country has a Federal Reserve, they print money, and now that we're in a digital world, they don't even have to print money. It's all the only reason why we pay taxes is to keep us indebted. If they can print money and there's no intrinsic value to it, and it's not backed by any commodity like gold or silver, it's not worth anything. So we trade our sweat equity, the most precious resource we could ever know, our time, for something that's worth nothing, so that we can pay them that nothing.
Sign me up.
Yeah, bud. So that's it. Like, fiat or FRNs, Federal Reserve notes, are just promissory notes. There's no value to them.
No.
There's no backing to them.
They used to be.
They're proof of debt. They're proof of human trafficking. That's all they are. That's all they are. Because we are indebted to work for them, Federal Reserve notes, and then we've got to take 25 to 50% of those earnings and give them to the crown. We're not giving them money. We're giving them our soul. We're giving them our life force. We're not giving them money, because there's no money. There's no money. There's no value to it. There's no backing for it. So there's nothing of substance there. Like if I have a silver dollar, a silver maple, it's got a face value of, if it's minted, it's got the queen or the king on it. It's got a face value of $5. But a 1 troy ounce of silver is worth $51.60 last I checked. There's substance to that. There's weight to that. There's a value to that. It's not just an idea that we all believe in that gives it its intrinsic value. It's got substance. So it's got a measurable value.
The metal, yeah.
Yeah. So if we worked for silver or gold, then we would be trading our sweat equity for something of substance. And we don't. This, I'm $80 an hour. So when I work an hour for you or anybody else, and they give me $80, in that moment, in this minute, that $80 is worth $80. And now if I take that to the grocery store right now and I spend it, then I'm realizing my sweat equity into substance, into form. So I've taken a promissory note, an instrument that promises to be worth $80, and I hand that over to somebody else who accepts the promise, believes that this is of value, and then they give me goods or services. If you take that money and you sit on it for 10 years, you've lost 90% of its buying power because it's not worth anything. So currency needs to stay moving in order to have value. And so as soon as we stop the flow of the river, there's no water. As soon as we stop the flow of currency, it has intrinsically no value. So when you take those FRNs that you just earned, you immediately convert them to crypto or commodities like gold and silver or property, then you've realized the value, the potential of that sweat equity that you traded for it, right?
So don't put your cash under the pillow, under the mattress.
Why would you ever save something that's worth nothing?
Yeah. Well, it's consistently getting worse, less and less and less.
Yeah. Buying power of the U.S. debt note.
The debt note.
Yeah. Is now worth 3%. It's got 3% buying power.
I mean, I feel more and more lately that $100 feels like $10 when I was a kid.
Well, it is.
Like giving.
It's less. It's like $5.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I went on a mountain bike trip, and I was just me and my son and my buddy. I was like, well, he's going to get some food. And I'm like, well, we'll just eat with you and I'll give you some cash. And it's like 3 or 4 years ago, I'd have given him like 20 or $30, $40. But now it had to be 150.
Yeah. Just to make it reasonable.
Yeah. I'm like, 150 sound good? And I mean, it was like some eggs, some bacon, some bread, a couple bananas. But I knew that $20 just felt like $1 I was throwing in his face. Like it was more insult.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
Yeah. $20 gets you a burger without fries at fucking Gladstone's. And it's a shitty burger.
Yeah.
Sorry, Gladstone's, if you're watching.
It's crazy. So you're a big believer in crypto.
Huge.
Because it's the people's money?
I don't know.
Or you think it's the money of the future?
I think there's a lot of value in something that, one of the spaces I'm really bullish on is XRP.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, obviously, it's the original. It's a good store of value. It's not necessarily solving any real world problems because the cost to move it is really high, and it's the time it takes to make a transaction is really high. But XRP, you can make a transaction from cold storage wallet to cold storage wallet, and it takes between 3 and 5 seconds. So I can move $100 million worth of XRP in 3 to 5 seconds.
Wow.
It completely solves the liquidity issue, cross-border payments. Like banks don't provide anything of value.
No.
They generate friction because it is the friction that gives the perception of value that they bring when they bring nothing. So when you take them out of the equation and it's just peer-to-peer versus peer to bank to peer, you save money, right? The transaction fees are basically non-existent. It's a fraction of what you would ever think about paying on the blockchain. You 3 to 5 seconds for a transaction of $100 billion. Not that I've ever moved that much, but this is an example. And the fees are like $3. When in any other time would you ever be able to do that? We've been using the SWIFT system, aptly named. It's the slowest thing there is since the 70s. I mean, it's an archaic technology. And the SWIFT system has allowed bankers to make like astronomical numbers every year, realizing profits that are beyond our ability to even count that high. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I'm bullish on crypto because of that. I really like the security of the blockchain. It's going to be very difficult to hack. I mean, there's technology and computers coming out now that I suspect would probably be able to do it. They're so
yeah, especially with, what do you call it? These new I can't remember the name, just flight out of my head. These computers that can kind of think, they're almost sentient. Yeah.
Yeah. They can make, they can do calculations that would take a normal computer a billion years to do, and they can do it in 5 minutes.
I heard Elon Musk just released some kind of AI, and his words were Grok. He said it's terrifying.
Yeah, and he's releasing it.
I know. Yeah. I don't get it.
You're so afraid. Fuck off.
It's like, I'm going to release this thing. It's terrifying.
Good luck.
Download it now, folks.
Yeah. Hopefully we have an electromagnetic pulse soon to kill all this.
I mean, we are in a transition where I was saying to Tara the other day, like, I have a real hard time knowing what's real and what's not online. Like, the fake real is getting really murky. As far as like imagery and like, I mean, you can tell AI, I want you to film a recording of me and my friend Michael, and I want us to be talking about buying a new John Deere tractor. Yeah. And it will sound and look like real people having a conversation. It's going to be really hard to.
And you know what the point of this is?
What?
I mean, there's going to be a lot of underhanded things that it can be used for. But the point of it is to generate time, to take our time. So anytime they get a click, we watch something they've generated that's bullshit, but it's like this crazy car accident video or whatever it is. They're stealing our life force. That's what it's designed to do. It's to whatever it takes to get our attention. Because our attention is money. Because in between these crazy reels, there's an ad, there's a little pop-up, there's my attention. And yeah, it's so really
it's the attention war, right? It's so
brutal.
War. And it's always been that way. It's all marketing.
It's just way better now. It's way clearer, way cleaner, way more effective. So the best thing we could do is take our shoes off, put our phones down and go outside and stand on the ground and charge our batteries. Yeah. Yeah. Stay away from that as much as possible. I'm like you, like everybody else. I have a phone, I have a smartphone. It's not that smart. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm just like more and more, my wife and I are like, oh, let's make sure that the phones are outside or wherever, not anywhere near us. Yeah. Little microphones. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I agree. It's a battle with the children, constant. I'm like, Tara and I always say, man, as if parenting's not hard enough. And then they throw this in the middle of it and say, good luck. Yeah. Every fight. Can I have a bit more time on my phone? Can I just get 5 more minutes on YouTube? Can I all the time? Every headbutt in this house with us and the children is over electronic device. It's not about, I don't know, you were out too late with your friends playing on the street. I told you to be back by 11 o'clock. That's what my parents would be mad at. Yeah. No one hears that anymore. No. Kids don't even want to go on the street.
Yeah, my kids go upstairs.
I'd rather be in my bedroom. Yeah. Yeah, it's bonkers.
Yeah, I have, like yourself, a really good connection with my children. And Nova and West I'm biased, but they're very intelligent, conscious people. They're little people, but actually my son's 6 foot, so it's not true. He grew up. But I can have conversations with them like, I think that you're on your computer too much, and there's not, you're right. You're right. You're right.
That's what he'll say to you?
Both of them. Yeah. I agree.
Every time?
Every time.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Yeah. But when we actually have a conversation. Yeah. And it's usually like, I'll come upstairs, I want you off your computer because I don't feel connected. And both my kids are going to go, well, okay. You know, there's a hesitancy, but there's also an awareness that the connection is more important. Yeah. And that the value that we can glean from it is way more divine. Yeah. And life-serving, life-giving than a screen with its distractions. And they're so good. Like, again, what we were just saying. Oh, I mean, the distractions are incredible.
It's like saying, here's a plate of cocaine, don't get addicted.
Yeah,
good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it's not going to work out well.
It's so hard as a parent to navigate this. It's so hard because you send your kid to school and everyone's got a phone. Yeah. And now we're told
they're like this.
Yeah, and and so your kid comes home saying, well, everyone's got one except me. And they're all laughing at me. You know, and it's
they're not. They're watching their screens. Yeah. They're not laughing at you. They don't even fucking notice you. Yeah. Jesus Christ could walk by and they're just going to be, I know, I'm here. It's the second coming of fuck.
Yeah. I mean, I've had situations where, my older kids, they have like 4 or 5 friends over up in the bedroom. Now, normally that is like the rafters are getting shook and it's like silent. Yeah. Like, she has all her friends over? Yeah, there's 5 of them upstairs. Go up there. And they're all staring at their phones. Like, and And it's funny, one time with my older daughter, I mean, who you've not met, Jasmine.
You have Raven as your son, right?
Raven and Jazz, yeah. They're in their 20s. And Jasmine actually, because I said to her, hey, do you want to make a bit of money and do my company's Instagram social media posts? And she's like, yeah, I can't. The phone, it drives me crazy, those apps. I feel like they make me feel crazy. And she was a full-on addict. And so...
Good for her.
Yeah, it's like...
It's a very mature position.
Well, I think that, you know, sometimes you've got people that drink and they just drink themselves to death willingly. But then you've got people that drink or abuse drugs and they hit a point where they're just like, I've had enough of this. Fuck this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they quit. So I think you always are going to have the ones that just keep,
Trucking.
you know, and you just pray that your kids are the ones that make good choices and just say, I want something.
Off switch.
Yeah, and say, I want something better for myself.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like eating too much chocolate. I just starting to feel gross.
Can you do that?
But I remember my daughter, so that story when I went up there and everyone was staring at their phones, I think one time there was a power outage or something happened. The internet went down. And Jasmine was like, yeah, I was like, who are these people? Like, I didn't even know these
How
girls.
to interact with them.
Yeah. She's like, they're like my friends, but when there was no phones, I didn't know what to talk about. Yeah, I was like...
That's an eye-opener. That's probably one of the reasons why she like completely did a 180.
I hope so.
Oh, it seems like it might be the...
I mean, she got into...
If she is telling you this story, it was an impact. Like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Without your phone.
It's like that movie WALL-E. Have you seen that?
It's a robot future garbage dump.
Yeah,
but
back. Kind of prophetic, right?
WALL-E.
Yeah, WALL-E.
Yeah,
he goes up and they're all
bits of it.
They're all like staring at their screens and they're massively overweight and they eat Slurpees all day and they build this world up in the sky because there's too much garbage on the earth. They got to leave.
Yeah, and then there's like they celebrate the guy who finally walks a step or two. Isn't that?
Well, I think what happens is everything gets turned off and the screen gets turned off and they look around. I didn't know there was a fountain up here. And it's this like beautiful place, but they're just completely zombied.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your name? I don't know you, you know. And
predictive programming right there.
Yeah.
Look around.
Yeah.
Like every time we're out in public, I point out when I see a group of teens walking around or sitting there. And instead of talking and interacting, they're all postured down, looking at their device. And I point it out because like, do you think that those guys know each other very well? Do you think they're connecting? Maybe they're texting each other right now. What do you think? I make light of it. And my son especially is like, what the fuck is going on? To me, that's win. That's a win. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also
Big
sad.
win.
Like I say, the second coming of Christ and everybody's going to miss it.
Yeah. And it's only going to get worse because now there's going to be implants. I mean, there's some people that, you know, when Apple brings whatever it brings out, whether it's a new set of headphones or they are literally camping outside the store.
Yeah.
Like whatever the new thing is, if it's a chip, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'll have all of it. I'll have all of the vaccines and all of the devices. People are.
That's what's going to be what calls the herd. Nobody's going to be breeding. They're going to be on.
Yeah, well, they
AI and
they say that, right?
Chat rooms.
People don't want to have sex anymore.
Yeah.
Like really, like
it's not my problem.
Your libido is firing.
Yeah. No lack of testosterone here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's a crazy time to pay witness to. You know, like there's just like
it feels like we're like the way the Industrial Revolution transformed the world. It feels like we're in another one of those moments, like right now, this transference of something.
Yeah, and how long is it going to be before you and I, people like us who decide not to get an implant, chip implant, become a problem? Like, I don't know what I don't know, full yield to that. But when we can't compete in the market where everybody's got a chip because they're, 100,000 times more intelligent and capable, where do we fit in? The biological purebloods? Where do we fit?
Yeah.
These humanoids, the actual original Homo sapiens.
And it's not all roses, right? Like I remember being at the and I've said
easy
this
to forecast.
Yeah, I remember, and I've said this before. I was at the cash at Thrifty's, and I was thinking, no, it was in Vancouver when COVID was, and they were seizing bank accounts, right? Because my bank account got seized, got frozen, because I donated.
Carolyn donated $80.
I donated through my company, and I was like, oh my God.
How much?
It was like $100.
And so how much was in your account at the time?
I can't remember,
Like
but it was
100
scary.
grand, couple hundred grand?
Yeah, maybe.
And how long were you unable to use your account?
I think it was I can't remember, but it was scary.
Like a week, a day, a month?
It was like a month or so.
That's criminal. Absolutely criminal. And they've already proven that the emergency act that they put in place was criminal. Literally, like it's been demonstrated that was a criminal act.
But it's like barely talked about.
Yeah, because legacy media, 15 million, what was it, $600 million that the Canadian government has been paying to 1,500 different media outlets through all of the COVID times. That's bribe money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, you're not going to hear about anything bad about Justin Trudeau. He's on the record as saying, I pay them a lot to make me look good.
All right. Well, guys, it's happened again. Technical issues with the filming of this podcast, and also technical issues with the ending of this podcast because my SD card didn't have enough space on it. So I apologize for the clunkiness of this. Apologize to Mike really for not having a perfect seamless podcast, but we got a lot talked about. We got a lot of subjects covered. Interesting, right? The sovereignty thing. And we end up talking for another half an hour or so about, I think, technology and how how it's integrating with our children and how to raise our kids around that kind of world and different things. So hopefully we'll talk again in the future and I'll have all of this stuff figured out. But thank you for listening. Thank you for sticking with us through this podcast. Please subscribe and share it with your friends. It's imperfect at the moment, but we'll get better at it. And so we'll see you on the next one. Thanks, Mike, for being part of this. And take care, guys. Thank you.